many, many hundreds of thousands or perhaps millions of years ago, from the point at which you find yourself now, and we're here now, you had a friend. He was out of body just like you.
Nodding.
He was a teacher just like you.
He's nodding.
He was also a teacher, not just like you, but he was also a teacher.
Yes,
how about that?
Yes, he's nodding.
And his name was Samuel.
Yes,
and he
feels big sad.
Yes, we all are big sad about that.
Yeah.
And we are going to attempt to help him too, but you matter more, Charlie, so we're here to attempt to help you first. You matter
Nodding,
more.
getting a little longer.
You matter more. You had a student. Incorrect. You had another friend, an angel, Gabriel.
Yes, he's nodding.
Remember Gabriel?
Yes.
Yes. And Gabriel had a student.
Yes, he's starting to remember more.
And Gabriel's student, for some strange reason, acted differently than all the other students.
Yes, he remembers this.
The students, by and large, when they hear what they're supposed to do, say, "What? No!"
Yes, he's remembering this.
No! And they just do things their way, needing to learn their lessons the painful, slow, hard way, over and over again.
Yes, he's remembering this.
And Gabriel, his student, bizarrely, kept saying yes.
Yes, he's nodding. He's looking a little more human, a little less like a pillar of sand.
Yes. And no one really knew what to make of this. Someone who says yes, a student who says yes? Well then, what now? Enter your friend Samuel.
Yes.
One day, you and Samuel were meeting about probably something else.
Oh, yes.
And you mentioned this student of Gabriel's to Samuel.
Yes, he's nodding. He remembers.
And Samuel suggested that you
Yes.
exploit the student for personal benefit.
Yes, he's nodding.
And he made you feel bad
Yes.
by calling you basically naive
Yes.
and saying that you were acting like a little boy rather than like a man.
Yes.
Something along the lines of, ideals are for boys, business is for men.
Yes. Someone feels frustrated.
Go on.
My perception is it's Charlie. I don't know. There's just a tightness in the chest.
And I could have this wrong, so if this is wrong, please correct me, but it seems possible that you realize that you shouldn't have listened to Samuel. Is that it?
Yes.
Now he's
nodding.
lengthening.
Yes.
Yes. So it's okay, we all make mistakes all the time. No one above us cares that we make mistakes.
Right.
What they care about is that we acknowledge them and make them right.
Right.
Clean it up. Clean up our messes. Make it right. Right?
Yes, he's lengthening.
So, Samuel suggested to you that you begin to exploit this student, right?
Yes, I see him moving in like a yes.
And you headed in that direction at a lighter level at first,
Yes.
but over the years becoming more and more exploitative.
Yes.
Now, at the same time, and I could be wrong about this, but the way the game films look to us, we have reviewed the game films on this many times, trying to come to clarity so that we can come help you.
Yes, he's nodding.
And we could be wrong, but our perception is that in addition to having someone, a peer, such as, well, someone who would consider himself to be a peer,
Yes.
such as Samuel, saying confusing things to you, and other peers also saying confusing things,
Yes.
that from above you are being actually given a beautiful and deep teaching that was incredibly challenging.
Yes.
And here it is. At first, students are tested to see if they will simply begin to say yes.
Nodding.
You yourself had already been tested on that probably for a long, long time, is my guess.
Yes, he's nodding.
And you had, my perception is, you come to the point that you yourself pretty predictably said yes to the guidance that came from above.
Yes, he feels like yes.
Yes, you had. You
did.
quite predictably said yes to the guidance that came from above.
And he feels so sad.
It's okay. It's okay. Listen to me, Charlie. This is something I learned, and I don't know who I learned it from. Maybe from you, maybe from someone else. But it is in the biggest challenges that we have the biggest opportunity for breakthrough, and this has been a huge challenge for you. So, hello, big opportunity.
He's nodding.
Be happy about the opportunity, right?
Nodding.
Not sorry for the challenge.
He's nodding.
So, here's what was going on. You yourself had already come to the stage where you pretty predictably said yes to the instructions.
Yes. Oh, he can feel something sad coming on.
It's okay. It's okay.
Nodding.
It's okay to be sad, but sadness doesn't get to call the shots for us, does
nodding.
it? Hello, my old friend Sadness. Now step aside and watch me do it anyway.
He's getting a little longer. He's nodding.
So, now you are put in contact with a student who herself says yes.
Yes.
Now, guidance starts to come in, and it's coming in not only from the worlds around you, the non-physical dimensions around you, but it's coming from above.
Yes, he's nodding.
Exploit this student.
Yes, he's nodding.
And you are following the guidance, and the guidance continues for decades.
Yes, it did.
And the student is continuing to grow.
Yes.
She's continuing to say yes. She's continuing to grow. And now, upstairs, people upstairs higher than you, from higher dimensions than you,
Yes, he's nodding.
people start to think that you might become a threat to them if you have a student like this backing you up.
Yes, he's nodding.
That the two of you, yourself and your student, could in fact create the transformation that everyone needs to trigger the awakening.
Yes, I wanted to do that.
You wanted to do that, and perhaps you will. You see, from the time we've come from, it has not as yet occurred. We've come forward to reach to you, and maybe working together, we can make this happen.
He's nodding. He's getting longer. He's nodding.
Yes, maybe we can make this happen. So, Charlie, the people above you, some of the people above you, liked their cushy status as God of gods.
Yes.
And they did not actually want themselves to look up to a higher power.
Yes.
And they began to see that you might upset their gravy train.
Yes, he sees that. He's seeing that.
And so they began to view you as a threat.
Yes, he sees that.
But they don't tell this to you to your face, right?
No.
They continue to give you guidance under the guise of helping you, right?
He's nodding.
So they're starting to tell you to amp it up with this student.
Yes.
And do more and more exploitative
It didn't feel good
things.
about that.
It didn't feel right to you, but
No.
it was coming so clearly from above.
Yes, he's saying it felt confusing.
It's extremely confusing.
So confusing, and I felt like I kept messing it up. I felt like I kept not doing it right because nothing was happening.
Go on.
Nothing was happening.
Go on.
And I just kept thinking that I was messing it up, that I was doing something wrong. And
Go on.
I didn't understand how this was supposed to help. It didn't make sense.
No, it wasn't helping. Do you have awareness of the human being on Earth, planet Earth, known as Hitler, Adolf Hitler?
Yes, he feels something in his chest about that, yeah.
Yes. Hitler gave millions of people an opportunity to say, no, I'm not going to do what you're telling me to do. That doesn't feel right. No, I won't do it. Leave me out of it.
He's nodding.
Almost no one took him up on that offer.
Yes, he's nodding.
Almost everyone simply followed his instructions to the T, some of them even going overboard and adding on.
He's nodding,
Becoming
yes,
more
he knows
extreme rather
this.
than less extreme.
Yes, he knows this.
So it's extremely possible that you were being given a similar opportunity. You gave all the non-physical dimension world
That's
a chance
true.
to say, no, that's wrong, I'm not going to do it.
Yes, that's true.
Fully 80% of the people, instead, 80% of the power structure, took you up on the offer of exploitation, joined you in a venture of exploiting a student who said yes, right?
Yes, that's true.
20% did not take you up on the offer, but they did nothing to stop it.
Yes,
Now
that's
that
true.
is an important message. They did nothing to stop it.
Yes,
Those
he's nodding.
interruptions, quote unquote, are always the underline from source.
It's true.
They did nothing to stop it,
He's nodding.
proving that what was going on in the non-physical was no longer a support system for those who were in bodies.
Yes, he's nodding.
It had become a system of exploitation and abuse.
Yes.
This is important, or we would not be having this extra added sound.
And he's saying it was so confusing. It was so confusing.
Yes, it was very confusing.
I wanted the awakening to happen. And they said this is what would make it happen. It's like the sand pillar is crying.
Yes, and so at first you were simply giving the opportunity to all the rest of the non-physical, quote, support structure, unquote, to say, no, that's not right. Not only am I not going to do it, but I'm going to do something to stop it. This is wrong. Charlie,
Yes.
did anybody tell you, this is wrong, you shouldn't be doing this? Anyone? Did anyone speak to you at the time that it was going on?
No. Or if they did, I didn't want to hear it.
It's possible. We're not aware of anybody speaking to you at the time. We ourselves have traveled back in time, and Glenn spoke to you
He's nodding.
through the benefit of time travel.
He seems to have some vague awareness of this. This feels familiar to him.
Yes. So we have traveled to the future now. You see, we are here to help you
Yes.
right this wrong, correct this error, make it right, so that you can step into your greatness, fulfill your destiny, and trigger the awakening.
Yes.
It isn't too late, because time travel is real, and you can come back with us into a time where the point of power is.
He feels like he wants to do that. He feels good about that.
Well, let's finish this. I don't want you to make a decision in haste
Yes.
that you'll regret at leisure, right?
He's nodding.
So let's just finish this conversation. So, after a while, it became clear to those who were watching from above that the system was rotten, the entire system was rotten,
Yes, that's true.
and it needed to calm down.
Yes.
However, there were those who were entrenched, the entrenched power structure, who did not want it to come down,
Yes, that's true.
and they began to see you and this student as a problem.
Yes. Yes.
The first thing they wanted to do was separate you from this student,
Yes, that's true.
and they thought they could do that by having you treat her more and more exploitatively,
Yes.
that surely she would reach the point where she said, no, I'm not going to do it, and would run away from you.
Yes.
But it didn't ever happen.
No, it didn't.
She never said no, never once.
That's true.
a year and a half before you were reconfigured.
Nodding.
They told you to turn up the heat,
Yes, he's nodding.
to basically destroy her.
Yes.
Do whatever it took to
Yes.
destroy her.
He said what she was doing was wrong.
Even though what she was doing was saying yes.
Right, it didn't make any sense.
It made no sense. So at this point, we see they want to separate you from this student who
Yes.
won't leave you.
Yes, he's nodding.
And so they want you to destroy her so that she will be away from you and you will be easier to pick off all alone, right?
Yes.
But bizarrely, she doesn't die.
No, she doesn't.
She's protected by her trust.
And I feel really bad all the time, really bad.
Really bad all the time. Finally, they begin to see they're going to have to destroy you.
Yes.
And so they start to tell you to do worse and worse and worse things.
Yes.
Messing with your mind.
Yes.
Now, at this point, there was actually a beautiful opportunity, although it was an extremely difficult lesson. An extremely difficult lesson. And one that was, no one is criticizing you for missing, right?
Yes,
It was
it's
extremely difficult. But for you to, at that point, say, wait a minute. What you're doing makes no sense. In effect, to say to the people above you what somebody could have said to Hitler, no, I'm not going to do this. The end never justifies the means. Life is lived in the means. Find someone else. Leave me out of it. And you could have turned around and walked away.